Greetings from fucking hot Arizona. Where it's going to be 115 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow, with maybe 60% humidity and a few violent thunderstorms thrown in. It's the monsoon season. I want to tell you at the outset, I love you all. Cindria, VJ, Kathleen, Kim, Angela, Eselina, Maria, Ken, Padma, Sebastian. Even Michael Kajawa. You all know for many years, I was in Zen, and then 8 years with Robert, which is very similar. And Zen brought me to no emptiness, no space, no the void. But I got out of Zen because there was no love in Zen. Sasaki Roshi at one time told me there was no love in Zen. I was looking up the wrong tree if I expected to find any love in Zen. What you find in Zen, what you find in Neo-Advaitins, is a lot about nothingness, emptiness, the void, or no separate self, oneness. But there's no bliss in Zen. There's no Shakti in Zen. But always wanting to surface out of that emptiness. And everyone who practices long meditation is a feeling of loneliness and a growing need to love and be loved. When it comes out of emptiness, it is so pure and so strong. So, after 20-some years in emptiness, one of my students came to me, and she loved me very deeply. And I wanted to show her Los Angeles. We drove down to my favorite spot on the beach where I photograph birds. We sat looking at the ocean. And she started to have orgasms. Totally out of nowhere. She didn't touch herself. I didn't touch her. This is my first inkling that women can have continuous orgasms purely out of love. No physical touching was needed. The mind was everything. The mind created the scenario, the arousal, the sexual arousal, combined with the opening of the heart in love, created a conduit for energy that flowed from the sexual organ to the heart, to the brain. And she had continuous orgasms for at least 3 or 4 minutes. Over a period of years that I knew her, she could spend most of the day having orgasms. even when I wasn't there and she wasn't masturbating. Because the kind of love I'm talking about, the transformative love of divine love, is not a limited love like human love. It grabs you completely. It grabs your mind. You can't think of anyone else but your beloved and being with your beloved. You become dysfunctional because you just like to rest in the bliss you feel when you think of your beloved, your desire for your beloved. And then you have either orgasms or bliss so strong, so steep, you can't feel like moving for fear of you'll break that bliss that you're in. And it's the most delightful experience you've ever felt in your life. And you want to treasure it and pamper it and keep it going without stop. Because everything inside of you has come alive. Your heart is open. You can feel the power of the Shakti in your stomach, in your womb, in your genitals, going upwards into your throat, the third eye, your brain, and above. Sometimes you're convulsed with the Shakti. It makes you do certain kriyas. It makes you feel different kinds of bliss. You begin to see the energies flowing inside of your body and around you, having different colors and flowing in different directions. Sometimes downwards like a golden light that feels like grace. Sometimes flowing around your heart, around and around and around, clockwise or counterclockwise, with different colors. Or you feel the energies leaving your heart and going out into the world like tentacles and having different colors. Or you feel a huge white light inside of you. That is the light of consciousness. It's also Shakti, or the life force, showing her form to you, an ever-changing, sparkling form of bliss and energy, spiritual electricity. This is no love like you've ever experienced before. Those who have felt it know it's different than any human love they've ever felt before. It's completely different. It's so soul-shattering that your mind begins to give up all of its concepts, loses all its ideas about what love is for, what spiritual love is, what human love is, what it's supposed to do to you, how it's supposed to be. All your ideas about your ideal love get thrown out of the window. And you're helpless in the grips of the Shakti in you that loves the Shakti in your beloved. Because it transforms. You begin to realize it's not your beloved that you love, but the Shakti in him or her that you love, the life force. And then you begin to realize that this loving of the life force is loving God. You feel like you're loving God and loving the beloved. And you even see images of God, or at least I did, as an enormous figure sitting on a throne. And I and she were at his feet, worshiping in total surrender this God, in total surrender. And in total surrender, we both felt such utter peace, utter love, and we're giving ourselves totally away to this God in us, the life force in us. Through Zen, I had known consciousness. I had known the witness. I had known beingness. I had known space. I had known ordinary mind without thinking. But with love, I knew desire for the other, desire for God, desire for my beloved to possess her, to love her, to surrender to her, to bow to her, to constantly talk to her about her, the perfection I saw in her, the love I saw in her, the sexuality I saw in her, the life force I saw in her, the wild energies I saw in her, the power I saw in her, just like I see in each of you. You are all limited only by your thoughts. But when you realize the power in you, the Shakti in you, that essentially you are divine beings incarnated into flesh and have divine powers, a communion with Shakti, which can perform miracles for you. And you begin to see the world in a different way, as energies within you that make you quake, that make you tremble in ecstasy, and also make you want to fall to the feet of your beloved. And there's only the beloved for you. You are reflected in your beloved. This kind of love of utter surrender, utter devotion, utter throwing yourself away to that person is totally transformative. You're no longer a human being, nor are you God. You're something else altogether. You feel an insatiable power inside of yourself. You feel it arising out of your gut, flowing into your heart, then to your outstretched hands that begin radiating energy, then upwards into the throat, into your mouth, to the third eye, and your brain, all of which are saturated with energy. And now you live in a new world. It's not a world of solid objects like it was before, because objects are created by concepts and words. And concepts and words don't change their meaning that quickly. So when we use those words to describe the world, we make it sound solid and permanent. But there's nothing solid and permanent when you see without the brain. It's all changing. changing, 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 changing every moment. Inside of you, the energies are changing. If there are thoughts, they keep changing. If there's bliss, the bliss keeps changing. The energy flowing in your body keeps changing. You can feel your body change. You can see the world outside of you with a silent mind. Nothing is still. There's always some sort of changing going on. The fan moving, the air moving in the shade, the light flickering slightly with the changes in electrical current. You can even feel the magnetic current of the magnetic field of the world if you're silent enough and quiet enough. You enter the world of Kundalini, of pure Shakti. That's not confined to the spine, but it's a generalized phenomena. And love, such love you feel, such devotion you feel. And it makes your mind break up because all of your concepts are subverted to this love that you feel. All the concepts are destroyed by this love that you feel that breaks up all concepts, all ideas about love, about the world, about God, and you don't know anything anymore. You become dumb as a rock. For a long period of time, you're dumb as a rock with just these immense forces and energies going through you. And you have no idea what's going on, and you couldn't care less what's going on because it's so wonderful what you feel. Your world is changing by the minute. Bliss is there constantly. And all of this has been born out of nothingness, out of emptiness, out of space, the void. And then you begin, if you start with Shakti, you begin to see the void in you. You begin to feel the emptiness too. So you can come to the full realization of self through emptiness like I did, or start with Shakti and go towards emptiness. But eventually you have to know the emptiness also. But now you're not in the human world anymore. You've entirely transcended the human world. And to go backwards into a non-Shakti world feels very damaging. It feels like you're going back into a garbage pit. And you want to stay with Shakti. You want to make sure that Shakti still loves you. That the energies still love you. That your beloved still loves you. It's all about love. It's all about energies. There's nothing here about the mind. Nothing at all about the mind. Because you've fully penetrated your body with your consciousness. And your consciousness occupies every cell of your body. And you can almost feel photons or blissons inside of your consciousness wherever your body is. If you close your eyes, you can still see your body. Feeling becomes transformed into seeing. And I remember that I was able to walk in the dark, absolute dark of movie theaters before the movie goes on. I was able to feel the magnetic current of the world and orient myself by it. I could feel the magnetic currents generated by electricity and wires in the walls. All these things and different ones come to you. The moon takes on a shape of an entity. The full moon can be very frightening or it can be very giving. You may be able to see entities. You may be able to feel entities. Sun Sansanim called this the epoch of magic that happens after you first become or realize emptiness. Muhammad, what are you doing? Muhammad, you're interfering. Don't do that.
Sorry.
Muhammad, this is not the time for questions.
Okay, I am new.
Just listen. Angela, tell us what it's like to lose the divine and go back into what did you call it? What do you call it? Into the mundane.
It's like dying. Dying inside.
More about it. What was it like before you were dying, when Shakti had you totally?
I felt God within me always. I felt deep trust. I felt that I could trust on God. I could surrender to God. I felt loved by God. I felt powerful in this connection. And I felt love itself. And going back into the world in the mundane and losing all this is like being dead inside. And lost.
That's nice, dear. It's a joke.
I know.
You'll get it back in bundles, but because of the transition you're going through right now, all of your energy is devoted into seeing how to make it in the world. But when that calms down, the Shakti will return, only much enhanced. You know this, don't you? Okay. Mohammed, yes, you have a question.
Oh, I am new.
So, what do you want?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, what do you want? What is it you're looking for?
You hear me?
Yes.
I am sorry, very sorry. I make mistakes in the beginning of that song. You can understand?
Yes. Anybody have any questions? Tonita?
That was very beautiful, Ed. Thank you. It really spoke to many things where I'm at right now. So thank you.
How is it in Sedona now?
Well, I saw David last night.
Huh.
And I mentioned how generous you were in letting me know about him, and yeah, so
Good.
I hope you can come up here sometime soon.
Sometimes. When Max is here, we'll go up.
Okay.
Kim, questions? Why not? What's the matter with you? Walker, questions? Statements?
Hello, Ed.
Yes, Michael.
Hi. I got a question. It has to do with if two people are awakened, and if it's, I'm generalizing this, of course, if they awaken and they have their own lives and they're established and they see the light within each other, isn't it really hard not to be with each other when they're established? Does it take a certain kind of discipline to just love the God in one another instead of just dropping it all and be together?
I can't follow your voice. I didn't hear your voice.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, but what's the question? I don't understand it. It wasn't clear.
If two people get enlightened, if they're blessed and become enlightened, and they already have established lives, and they meet each other, does it take a special discipline to not be with each other? I mean, isn't it very difficult?
Why would it be difficult?
Well, if one has a family already, I'm talking literally be together.
It depends on the situation.
Right.
Some would just go to the other one. Some
I
wouldn't.
see.
It's all depends on the situation. How big the family is, how attached you are, whether the other one has a family too. It's
Right.
It's not an easy question to address. It's kind of speculative too and hypothetical. You have to speak of your own experience, not some hypothetical.
Right. Yeah. I could see it possible for people, being that awakenings often don't happen early in life unless you're really blessed. And there seems to be that a lot of people who run into that situation can run into difficulty.
Yeah, I guess so. What is there a question still?
No, that was the question. You answered it. You answered it. There seems to
I'll
be
take a
no-
look at that South Carolina congressman, Sanders, I think, Saunders. He had a
Okay.
family and he had a lover in South America somewhere. And he left his wife for that lover. He was very established, but he had this head over heels love affair with that person, and they are now married, so far as I know it. So even he, as a congressman, or he was a governor, I think, at the time, it's possible to give up everything, of course. Anybody else? VJ, anything to say?
So is that a lust that that it drives them to go?
What?
Is that lust that
No.
drives them to be together, go there, leave the family?
No. Lust is the smallest part.
In this case of congressman, it doesn't appear like anything else other than that.
Why do you say that?
Unless he is a realizer like you, probably, I would believe that it's not lust.
I think you're trying to oversimplify it.
Okay.
I mean, the the kind of love I'm talking about, divine love, involves every particle of your body, your entire mind, the heart chakra, the sexual chakra, the gut, where all your power is, as well as your throat. Everything wakes up in you. Everything wakes up in you, and all that you can do is think about the beloved. Now, he may have had that exact kind of realization, and that's what drove him to be with her thousands of miles away and be willing to give up the governorship to be with her and to abandon his family. There's nothing about this love that's for sissies. There's nothing about this that is for meek people. It's wild. The degree of love is wild. The degree of sexuality or arousal is wild. Everything about it is way beyond anything most people ever experience. It's way beyond human love. It's the life force itself, loving the life force itself. It's wild, it's ecstatic, it eats concepts. It can destroy your body. You may not sleep for weeks at a time because of the energies you feel, the bliss you feel, or the orgasms you feel. And it awakens you totally. And so it reclaims, like Robert would have everybody throw their humanity away. He says the world is not real. Ignore your emotions. Ignore your problems. Your body is not real. It's a creation of your mind. Ignore the world. Ignore your problems. He would throw humanity away. But this path, after emptiness, feels everything and takes that love and awakens every particle of your humanity, your love, your compassion, your hurt, your desire, your feelings of loss and sensitivity to loss. Everything becomes awakened in you. Emotions go wild. Desires go wild. Fears go wild. It's awakening of things that you thought were long dead in you. It's like a new adolescence all over again. Only this time there's no protection of denial. You waken up to being overrun by energies, overrun by emotions, and becoming totally alive again. Veselina, any comment?
Yes, I agree, because I had this experience that I felt that things that I have long passed through and I don't need to recall, or I don't know, I thought I was done with a lot of things. A lot of my mind, how it acted with people, how I reacted to people, and now it comes again. Now it shows again, but it's for things that happened took 2 or 3 years now take 2 or 3 days, and after that, after I resuffer it, I forget about it very quickly. Um, it just stopped existing in my mind after that, and I don't even recall it. I don't go back to the memory of it, of the pain, or yes.
So you're reliving your adolescence in very quick time.
Yeah.
With a lot of intensity.
Very, very intensive, and very hard for very hard periods of my life that made it so difficult for me. They reappear, and then They burn out.
because of the intensity.
Well, probably, but
And because of the Shakti that you have now, that's burning you all the time. The Shakti energy.
yes, it's just an attachment that I didn't really know that it existed. And life didn't show it to me because it's easy to blame the other people when they're obviously not right. It's easy to say, I felt, for example, like shit because you were acting like a very bad person, but when it re-shows again, I see that I'm the bad person actually. And because now this person that caused that pain is gone, but I relive the same thing. And I see that the problem is not in the other people and how they treat you. Mostly, not completely. Yeah, that's it.
Very, very, very good. Very good. Ken, what do you have to say?
Is there freedom in Shakti? Is there freedom in Shakti?
I'd say there's total freedom in Shakti. Once you identify with Shakti, everything is spontaneous. As a matter of fact, after Shakti arrives, no 2 days are the same. As before Shakti, it seems like day after day is the same, except when you're very young, then it always seems different. But when you're older and set in your patterns and working and so forth, every day is the same. Monday through Friday is one schedule, Saturday and Sunday is a different schedule. But after Shakti arrives, every moment is different. So in a sense, every moment is new. Padma, any questions? Any responses?
I have a question.
Who's I?
You hear, Maria?
Yes.
Have a way to discover this love? Oh, no. Have a way to discover all of this you're talking about.
Did you say something? Was that a question?
Yes. Sorry. Have a way to discover all you're talking about, all about love. Have a way to discover this? Oh no.
Sure, you fall in love.
The religion that's like you say about Zen and your spirits. You can say the Zen help you in something to discover this love. Oh,
Let's put it this way. Zen was so painful and so loveless that it made me realize how loveless it was and how much I needed it. But if anything, I'd say avoid Zen. Avoid the quietness, avoid the peacefulness, and instead go the way of Shakti, of energy, of loving, of committing your whole soul to everything you do. And awaken the energies that way by falling in love with the world, falling in love with somebody, and developing that divine love. But not too many people are ready for divine love. They confuse regular human love with the kind of love I'm talking about, and they just repeat the same thing over and over again, the same kind of relationship over and over again. That's not very deep.
So if a person falling in love about something who makes sense in her lives, this is a way to just to discover this love.
Yes.
Oh, so you have to be pretty honest to yourself to what you falling in love.
Yeah, you have to see it's so strange in the West and in the East, in its spirituality, there is so much hiding of the self, so much secrecy. Uh, the gurus will talk about secret teachings and they'll mean tantric teachings, sexual teachings. They don't talk much about emotions in the East at all. Zen, anything, all the various forms of Buddhism, they don't talk about love. They don't talk about anger. They don't talk about hate. These are things to be stayed away from because they're attachments to the world. And the only way you find happiness is by becoming detached and going into nirvana or losing the sense of self, the separate sense of self. But I find this is more of a Zorba the Greek style spirituality where you revel in the world, in love, and in dancing, and in wild energies, awakening the kundalini within you. And all your life you've been boring, and then suddenly at 45, you become exciting. You become excited with everything. DJ, you hear that? You become excited with everything.
So like when you discover this love, you feel kind to decided to do everything, to live, to wake up, to walk, to is kind of like this.
No, it's more like falling deeply in love and falling at the feet of that whom you love, or he or she whom you love. And then everything happens automatically. It's not that you are dancing. It's not that you are living wildly. It's that the energies in you make you do these things automatically. It's automatic. You find a lover and it's automatic. You find a guru that you can fall in love with, it's automatic because he or she has been through the process and knows all of the nuances and all of the things that can happen and can guide you that way. When it happened between me and this woman who doesn't want me ever to mention her name, for us, it was just totally discovering everything new. It was a whole new path. The rising of the energies, the constant orgasms, the desire for the other, the surrender to the other, the seeing of God, the feeling of the energies, of the ecstasies, and watching the energies and feeling the energies between the hands that can be used for healing. The projection of energies through the heart. All of these things can be learned, and we didn't know. We just stumbled into this. It's different from Tantra Yoga because Tantra Yoga just emphasizes sexual techniques and withholding semen and things like that. But this was more of a combination of just spontaneously loving with every fiber of your body another person, and then realizing that person is God incarnated. And the deeper you understand this, the deeper you understand the God in yourself. Do you feel God inside of yourself?
Yes, but I just feeling God inside of myself because I found someone who I see this God, and this person show me have a God inside of me, and I can use this for better things to help people to realize some things that I think that I always knew but never be clear to me. never
I can't hear you anymore. You're getting quieter.
You
and
hear me now? You
Yeah,
hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. Now.
Sorry. I say that I see the God inside of me because someone showed me this. Someone that showed me this God inside of me, because for me this never be clear. I realize things, but I think my fear, or I don't know, my fear disturb me a lot to realize things. But this person showed me something that I never know, and I can say that I feel really complete and feel something that that oh, I forget the word. So just yes for your question. Yes.
Good. Thank you. Max, can we get you finally to say something?
What do you like me to say? I'm feeling
I'd
very
like
good.
you to be able to put together 2 paragraphs instead of just 1 word. Talk about what's happening with you.
I don't know why. Today I'm feeling ecstatic during satsang. It's building and building.
Good. Wait till you're here.
Yeah. Very much looking forward to it.
Good. Well, let's see. Is there any other things that could be covered? Spirituality is very complex. Tanita, you have another question?
Well, yes. So an interesting connection came through, I guess, in the past week. And it came with the words, oh my God, the Christ was a yogi. And I guess what's been happening inside is, with all this talk of the Shakti, being very much aware of the nadis, surrendering into that, but there's also been this theme of the Christ, or flavors of Christian mysticism in my life, kind of weaving in and out. And then this week, they somehow came together in myself, and it came like when you were talking earlier, when you were first leading in and speaking, you were alluding to a state, like an energetic condition, let's say, or abidance. And I feel this, I'm feeling the beginnings of it, where literally like every cell, little spark of energy, it's alive. It's almost like you literally can feel every cell breathing, burning. And that ties in with my earliest sense of the Christ. As a child, I saw a vision of the Christ as this golden field that was just alive. It wasn't a man, it was just a golden field. And I'm starting to shake now saying it, but it was like the connection was made that that golden field was exactly what it felt, was the fullness of what this is leading to, this every cell being alive, all the debris of the mind and the conditioning finally cleared out by the Shakti, and it's just full-blown, that blessingness, that pure, radiant love that's impersonal that you're talking about. It's personal but impersonal, right? Both.
Exactly.
And so, like, you haven't mentioned the Christ, and some people say, oh, there was no Christ, there is a Christ. I don't know, I don't care, factually. But I know in my own psyche there was this connection made, and I'd love to hear your comments on that.
Oh, I have no idea.
Do you have any sense, or has the Christos, gnosis, does that ever come to you?
No.
No? Okay.
No. But what you're talking about is commonly called Christ consciousness or Krishna consciousness, the feeling of ecstatic bliss everywhere, the feeling of utter elation and upliftment, where you're radiating energy and energy is radiating in you, and you're completely happy and totally in a different world
Yeah.
beyond this world, beyond the mundane. This is
Yes.
what Angela lost by being in crisis in the Netherlands. And that's what she wants
Right,
back.
what I'm speaking to is where, I'll just say the subtle body, for lack of a better word, whatever, where we can be functional, where we can actually embody it, that the field is cleared out enough that we don't go into incapacitation, where we can actually embody and begin to function in the world in that high vibratory state. That's kind of what started coming in.
That's kind of hard to do. It's usually there's a long period of dysfunction. When I was with Robert, I became very dysfunctional for a long, long time. It's because I didn't want to move. The peace was so tremendous, I didn't want to disturb it. And people that are in this state you're talking about often don't want to move either in the mundane world for fear of disturbing that bliss that they feel, the descent of God. So you do become dysfunctional. My point is, so what? Who wants to be functional when you can feel bliss? Who wants to be able to use it? The thing is, when you become very advanced, you can use the Shakti to do things. But by that time, many years have passed. Max has finally learned how to do both to a certain extent. He's getting his PhD done. Then he'll come here to bliss out and be on vacation and be very, very lazy for 2 months, just like he always is, drinking too much brandy. Spirituality is so complex. The tendency always is for people to grasp onto one small point and make that the entirety of spirituality, like the neo-Advaitins. No separate self. Understanding that is enlightenment. That's not the tiniest beginning. You have to experience emptiness, true emptiness, the void that permeates everything, that permeates your body, permeates the world, permeates all your sensations, permeates your emotions, permeates even your bliss, and is a container for your bliss. You have to experience spiritual bliss, the running of Shakti through you. You have to experience emotions fully, totally, fear, horror, anger, love, jealousy. You have to feel your sexuality totally and feel the emptiness permeating even that. You have to feel your heart in conjunction with your sexual organs, how they operate together, how the energy flows between them. You have to feel your sense of presence as the subtle body within that extends beyond your body like a magnetic field around you, extending out a foot or two from your physical body that interacts with the rest of the world, the experiential world. You've got to be able to experience nothingness, which is to go to sleep at night and to lose any experience whatsoever. So emptiness is different from nothingness. Emptiness permeates all of experience, while nothingness is the absence of any experience, and you are also that. All of these things you have to learn. You have to learn about divine love, how it comes out of nothingness, how it also comes out of emptiness. It is extremely complicated to understand everything. And that's one of the reasons I don't really care about the way David teaches, because he tries all these to wrap it all together. Well, I try to focus on one particular thing for one satsang, then another particular thing for the satsang, so they can really feel it, rather than to give an intellectual summary of what's going on. I like the feeling, to have the feeling in there most. And I hope you feel when I'm talking about Shakti, I hope you can feel it. When I talk about loving devotion, I hope you can feel the intensity that's required. If I talk about jealousy, I want to be able to describe it in such a way that it rips you apart. Mohammed, you have a question? I see 8 chat questions. I am losing myself in the head to the thoughts, so I'm unable to experience love and energies. I guess there's a beginning question before that. Can somebody read the questions to me? My English is so weak, I remain silent. I can feel you. Language is not important to me. Just thank you. You're welcome. VJ, why don't I experience anything? Am I so insensitive to the energies or love? Am I losing myself in the head? Yes, you are. You're undoubtedly bound by thought, VJ. What I need to do is slap you in the head right in front of you, but I can't. You're too far away. And say, feel this, feel this, feel this. And then to tickle you with a feather until you go insane with laughter. And do those kinds of things to you. Just tickle you, tickle you, tickle you. That tickle the bottom of your feet until they tingle, and you're just laughing and laughing and dying because you're laughing so hard. I am restless like a chicken to experience something profound, love, silence, energy, self. I'm completely open to you. Please give me that. VJ, you can say you're open, but if you're not receiving it, I'm sending it. As Ramana said, I can give it, but can you take it? So what I recommend for you is just to relax as much as possible. For a half hour, twice a day, just relax. Get in a chair, stop thinking. Let your mouth drop open. And just keep trying to relax, letting the muscles relax. Because when the muscles are soft, you can begin to feel the energies. So I think you think so much that your body's always tense and you can't feel with it. So relax, 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 and get a puppy. Get a puppy to love, to lick your face all the time, to lick your feet. Just relax. Keep your desire, though, to feel the energies and to feel the love in place, but relax and actually feel the love there. Well, somebody else raise their hand? Maria, you raised your hand again? Did you have something more to say?
I think that
Microphone.
Mike, you hear me? Oh no. No?
I wasn't.
Yes.
Now.
No. Okay. I think when you talk about feeling this deep love, this love is not a human love. I try to get histories or to people tell about love of to people, about love of group, and try to put this in a really deep love, because I am human, so my mind sometimes wants a like a comparison. My mind sometimes wants to something to see, to believe in this. But yeah, relax. I agreed with you when you say to relax more and feel more, not to think too much. Just that. And
Okay. Kim, do you finally have a question? You look like you might have a question.
I wasn't sure if I had a. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I had a question. I guess my question is, I often feel a lot of love, and I feel it's been happening again lately that I have this feeling like I'm in love, but it's not directed towards anything or anyone, or it's just like this general feeling. And you talk a lot about how to enhance your love for someone, or I'm not sure how to, because I feel like sometimes I project it on something, but I feel like if I do that, it actually diminishes at some point. So probably it's not smart to do that, but how do I enhance a general love without projecting it? Or because when I get lost in the mind, it disappears, but it doesn't take over the mind because it's like not so strong, or sometimes it's a little bit strong, but
So you want to enhance it.
I don't know if I need to enhance it, because you talk about a love that takes over everything.
Right.
I feel like I can take over everything.
So what do you want?
I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it also.
Kind of what? Kind of what?
I want to lean into it, I guess.
You want more of it.
Yes.
Find it in yourself. Where is it? Close your eyes. Feel where the love is. Does it have a location?
Many locations.
And you can intensify it. Intensify it in your heart. Intensify it in your gut. Intensify it in your pussy. Intensify it in your brain. Just feel it growing more intense. Doesn't have to have an object. Just connect the various chakras together. The root chakra, second chakra, the heart chakra. Those are the essential ones. Those are your power ones. Once you get those hooked up and the juices flowing between them, the Shakti flowing between those chakras, they'll all wake up. But you have to allow yourself to lighten your sexuality too, because that will set off the heart even more. There's a line that connects those three chakras together. And if you can get Shakti flowing in that loop, the heart will become so fired with love that it will take over completely.
Thank you.
Or you can imagine a Christ figure or a guru or Krishna to enhance the awakening of those three centers as a God to surrender to.
Thank you. I think that.
Well, that's it for today. The video will be up shortly. I love you all. We've had far too much talking this time. Not enough energies. Maybe on Wednesday, we're going to begin next Wednesday at noon, another satsang. So I don't know what the format will be there. Maybe listening to chanting, not my chanting because it's all garbled by the time you hear it, but using the chanting on Weebly for all of us to listen to it at the same time, and then to have sitting in silence and a talk. I don't know yet. We'll play it by ear. But listening to chanting is always great for wakening up the heart and the energies inside of oneself. I love you all. I'll see you Wednesday if you're coming. Otherwise, next Sunday. Bye-bye.